Hi, it's Amy Hauser. Thanks for joining me for a little bit of yoga today. We are going to do some basic yoga. We're going to use a chair today. We're going to do some chair things, sitting, and we're going to do some standing yoga as well. So, a few things that you're going to need with you. If you've got a mat, hopefully on a firm foundation, a firm surface, or a very, very thin rug, having that yoga mat is great. Then having a chair, preferably a chair with a back. I am using a stool today, but you're going to see my imaginary back for some of the poses that we're doing today. I just use this because it's easier for recording purposes. Then a yoga block. If you've got a yoga block, or a thick book works fine for what we're doing today. And it's really not even an absolute necessity because of the simplicity of what we're going to use that for today. And then I like to have a blanket when I do the final resting pose that we call Shavasana, or just resting pose at the end to let everything settle in our body. Sometimes it's a little cool, so if you like to cover up, have a blankie on hand, also not necessary. But let's go ahead and get started by sitting in our chair today. And we are going to just first and foremost just settle in. So we're here for probably 40 minutes, and we're going to go through these different poses and just getting the body kind of loosened up. But before we do, let's just be present. Just get used to feeling yourself sitting in your chair, becoming aware that you're actually just sitting and slowing down and taking some time for you, not only to move your body, but become aware of what's happening in your body and what your body is saying. Because you know what, so often we don't even recognize what our body's doing and what it's talking to us about. Maybe it's saying, hey, I need to chill a little. Or maybe I need to move and I need to stretch and I need to breathe and I just need to settle in. And so we do a lot of things that are more Christ-centered body movement, somatic movement, awareness of what our body's doing. So we're going to start with a really quick, 30-second meditation. And so, well, what is meditation? Meditation is really just becoming aware of what's in you, that life force in you, Christ in us, that hope of glory. And so a simple type of meditative practice would just be, if you like to close your eyes, you can have your eyes open, you can just soften your gaze, meaning just looking down, maybe your nose, and just relax the body. Become aware of your sit bones making connection with the surface of the chair. Pulling your belly in towards your spine. Softening that gaze. Let's breathe in for a count of 4. We're going to hold the breath or just float the breath for a count of 4. And then we'll breathe out for 4 together. We're going to just do that 2 times through, something very simple. So close your eyes. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. And let that out for a count of 4. Let's do that one more time and I'll count with you. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And as you open your eyes, congratulate yourself. You just meditated for less than a minute. It's just becoming aware, slowing down, knowing that everything is great right here, right now, in this moment. And as we do that, and the more we practice, we can literally just settle into that restful place of what does our body need. So as we go through these different stretches, different moves, listen to what your body's saying. Maybe it's saying, I can open up in that shoulder more than I realize. Maybe a little more opening is going to be good for the body today. Or perhaps the body's saying, We're a little bit stressed, we've got some tension, and that's okay. So we're just going to listen and we're going to move with what works. We're not going to push it. We're just going to honor what the body says is okay for today. So with that in mind, we're going to just start with some simple breath. I want you to just become aware of where your breath lands in your body. If you'd like to, again, close your eyes, soften your gaze, just tune into where your breath is today. And so what do I mean by that? Maybe it's down low in your belly, and you feel your belly expand with each breath and contract and pull in. Or maybe it's up high in your chest and you feel it kind of up here. Or sometimes we even breathe and we just feel it like in our throat, and so that's sometimes some more tension. We're having a harder time getting that breath down into the belly. No judgment on that. It's an awareness of what's going on in our body. So just softening your gaze, notice. Don't try to change the breath. Just breathe naturally. Softening the shoulders, softening in the face. Allow those eyebrows to just rest, the jaws to soften. Perhaps there's even a little bit of a distance or space between the upper and lower teeth as you relax the mouth. With your next inhale, see if you can bring that breath down into the belly region a little bit more. See if it gets stuck. Maybe it's stuck in the chest. Maybe it comes down near the heart. Or maybe you notice the fluidity all the way down into the lower abdomen. And restfully coming out. This time, see if you can breathe in through the nose, expanding that belly, and breathing out through the nose. Now, of course, if you need to use your mouth, that's perfectly fine. But in the ideal, we work to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And so we're going to bring ourselves to awareness of the breath, connecting with every bit of movement that we do. So let's go ahead and just lower our chin towards the chest. Feel that extension opening up through the back. Those upper traps. And breathing in, let's bring that chin and draw it all the way up to the ceiling. Just to that point where it's comfortable. You feel a little bit of extension in the back of the neck, allowing those shoulder blades to rest, relax. Let's take that chin and then draw it down toward the chest one more time. Continue to breathe. And then let's bring that chin to neutral. Let's take the chin to the right shoulder. Just turning nice and gently. Maybe gazing a little bit over that right shoulder, belly into the spine, hands resting softly on the lap. Let's take that chin and then draw it to neutral. And then coming on through to the left shoulder. Just noticing the difference from left to right in your body. Let's go ahead and take that chin, then back to neutral. And this time we're going to take our right ear to the right shoulder. And so you might, like me, I just felt a little catch in that neck, and I just kind of work through it, see where the range of motion is as we draw that right ear closer to that right shoulder. We're not shrugging the right shoulder up, but rather letting it rest and relax. Breathing. Let's bring that chin. If you want to, take your right hand and help your head up if you need to, but we're going to bring that head back up to neutral. Then let's draw that left ear to left shoulder. And just, again, an awareness of how you are from side to side. There might be a little more tension carried in that left shoulder, left neck, left side of the neck rather. I only have one neck. Breathing. And then if you need to, help that head back up to neutral. Really good. Let's take these hands, put them on the shoulders. We're going to do internal and external rotation. So let's just start with some internal rotation. Keeping the hands on the shoulder, I'm just going to take those elbows and I'm making circles with those elbows out in front of me, sitting up nice and tall. Breathing, just notice in the range of motion that you've got the shoulders today. Maybe even exaggerate that a little bit if you feel tension, just kind of working through that. Let the breath release the tension. And then when you're back to neutral, let's come and rotate externally. Just seeing, again, the difference, rotating. It's funny how simple moves can actually feel really good to loosen up the body. All right, let's put those hands back down. We're going to do some side stretch. So I'm just going to take my right hand, place that on the right side of my chair. Inhale that left arm up nice and tall, and then just stretching over. Now I'm going to try and stack my shoulders on top of one another. So I'm going to widen my stance a little. My feet are hip width distance apart. Inhale that arm back up tall. Place that left hand on the chair. Let's inhale that right arm up nice and tall. And again, stretching over to that left side, trying to keep my shoulders stacked. Okay, I'm not off center with my left one back. I want to try to keep them kind of stacked. I don't have to get real far over. I just want to open up that right side body. And let's inhale that arm up, nice and long. Coming back down to neutral. We're going to twist. So let's take our right leg, cross that over the left, sitting like a very proper lady. I'm going to take my left hand on my left knee, or I'm sorry, my left hand on the right knee. My hand back behind my chair, maybe even on the back of the chair, whatever feels right. Belly into the spine as we just do a nice gentle spinal twist. Getting that synovial fluid in the spine, moving, breathing. Feel that spinal column breathing in air. It's as if you're breathing in from the base of the spine, feeling it extend all the way up to the crown of your head. And on the exhale, let's release back to neutral and do the same on the other side. So I'm going to cross my left leg over. I'm going to help my thighs stay in nice and firm with my hand, twisting. Breathing in as if I feel that breath coming in from the base of my spine, my root, and energizing my entire spinal column as I twist. And exhale, let's undo that. Twist. Maybe scooching a little bit to the front of your chair, extending your feet out. Let's lift that right leg. I'm going to just put my hands underneath my knee on the right side. And I'm just going to rotate clockwise with this hip. So you always hear me reminding you about your posture, your core. Simple moves have so much greater impact, you guys, when we engage our core. So I'm pulling that belly in as I'm rotating that hip in a clockwise position, and then let's just rotate in a counterclockwise. We're not even counting, we're just doing this roughly the same amount of time. It's more fun to just talk as I rotate my hip. Let's place that one down on the floor and then do the same on the opposite side. So if you started with your right, let's move on to the left, and then I'm going to go clockwise first. You do you, boo. We're just going to make sure we go both directions. Again, breath and core. And then let's go ahead and reverse that in a counterclockwise position. Noticing the difference from side to side and directionally. One more time around. Let's place that foot on the floor. next we're going to just do a nice deep hip stretch, okay? So you've noticed we literally started from the crown of our head with our breathing all the way down. We're just working our way down the body. And so we're on the hips. So I'm going to take my leg and I'm going to cross it over to the best that I'm able, okay? So work with where your body shows up. Maybe you're not going to be able to get very far. Maybe you need to stay down here towards your ankle. But if you're able, we're going to bring a crossed leg. And we're literally just going to place our hand near the knee, but not putting direct pressure on the kneecap. So you can be a little below it. You can be close, wherever it feels good. I'm going to have an active foot. An active foot means like it's flat, like as if I'm stepping on the wall right over here. And then I'm going to place some pressure on that upper thigh, or on that thigh right above my knee. I'm just going to get a nice deep hip opener here. This is a deep hip stretch. So do you remember what you need to do in all your exercises? Breathe. Pull the belly in. Smile. Let's release that, give it a little break, maybe pull it in a bit. Let's do it one more time. We get nice deep breaths in. So let's take a deep breath in and let that out. As you're pressing on that thigh, pressing down, breathe in and let that out. All right, let's bring that leg down, stretch it out a little bit. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Crossing that leg over again to wherever you can. Like you're gonna notice maybe a difference. Like I've got some tension in this side of my hip today. It's much tighter than normal. So I'm just gonna give it a little break, feel where it's at. I'm gonna activate this left foot. I'm gonna find a place that I wanna press, and I'm gonna lean in as I press down. Leaning in, leaning forward. Just a little bit, breathe in. And out. One more breath in. And out. Pull that leg in, give it a little reprieve. And let's do round 2. Gentle press. Active foot. Belly in. Diesel's coming over to say hello, everybody. Make sure you're breathing. Lean in a little bit for the last breath. And yeah, getting a bunch of indies. And we're gonna let that leg down. Shake it out a little bit, little wiggles if you need to. And now we're going to get some standing things in. So let's grab our chair and we'll have that in front of us. I'm going to adjust this camera ever so slightly. Grab a rubber band for my hair. So before we use our chair, what you're going to want to have is your chair should have the back of that chair facing you. So the tall back side of your chair facing you. Before we begin, let's just take our hands back behind, interlace them behind our tailbone, extending those knuckles to the floor, rooting down through our feet, belly into the spine. Let's just do a nice shoulder opener here. Collarbone opener, heart opening. By pulling those knuckles towards the floor behind us with a gentle gaze forward and engaging the breath. Feel that opening through the back and through the chest. as you root down through all four corners of each feet, meaning a strong base foundation. And we'll release our hands. Now coming to the back of the chair, I'm pretending that I'm holding on to the back of a chair here. And we're going to just open up some things in the feet. So let's lift up that right foot as we root down through the left, lifting up that right ankle and that whole foot. Let's rotate that ankle. We'll go in clockwise just a few times. Just get some movement in that ankle before we do a few other poses here. Just get some movement, get these toes waking up. Then we're going to reverse that, doing those ankle rotations. And then we're going to place that foot down. And I am going to bend my toes back. So I want you to think about like how Barbie stands, you know, how her toes are up. I want you to feel all 5 toes really pressing into the mat. So you're getting some extension, backward extension of those toes. Pick up that foot, move it however you want. A little manipulation with the knee. Just feel the toe mounds in each toe, getting a little bit of a workout. More breathing in everything. Just bringing that into awareness creates a habit of oxygenating the body, getting that blood flowing. And so everything that we're doing, we get maximum benefit. Now let's pick that foot up on the right side and point those toes back behind. And then I want you to drag that foot forward, and now the toes are bending backwards. So you're getting a nice extension on the top of that right foot. You can just really feel a nice stretch. So again, remember that you listen to your body, right? Pay attention to where it says, oh, that's too much. Or I can take a little more, that feels really good. Let's go ahead and place that foot then flat on the floor. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Root down nice and firm on that right side. And find a focal point. I guess I didn't say that at the beginning. Find something in front of you where you keep your spine neutral, something that you can look at that's not moving as you do these things. So I'm looking maybe at the camera, but you're gazing forward, relaxing the shoulders as you rotate that right ankle in a clockwise rotation first, loosening up that ankle joint, and then reverse. Let's go the other way. Standing nice and tall. And we'll place that left foot on the mat. And we're going to do that Barbie stance. Finding your focal point. Let's just bend all those toes, filling all the way from the baby toe mound, all the way to the big toe mound, getting a nice reverse stretch. So we're doing opposing moves here of extension and flexion. This extension. Let's go ahead then and lift that foot up. Again, point those toes back behind like you're in ballerina slippers. Slide that left foot forward to meet up towards the right, and placing pressure as we're getting this extension. Across the tops of those toes, our phalanges. Again, paying attention to where it feels good and where your body says, ooh, that's enough. And let's place that foot flat on the floor, still holding on to the back of your chair, finding that focal point in front of you, belly into the spine. Let's rise up on our tippy toes. And then come down and just slightly bend the knees. And then let's just keep doing that a few times, just getting a full extension. So we're getting all the way up on our tippy toes. Then we're coming down to a flat foot. And we're feeling a stretch all the way back into that Achilles tendon. again, up as you breathe, and then back down. That feels good. All right. Coming to the side of your chair now, we're going to do a little bit of balancing pose. We're going to start with a simple eagle. Arms out to the letter T. Let's take our right hand and it's going to wrap underneath the left. Did you catch that? Right arm comes underneath the left. And then we're going to wrap again. See if we can get our hands in alignment. Now, hands can be, the back of hands can be together, or they can come together all the way. We're palm to palm. Then we're going to pull those upper arms in toward the chest, nestling down. And then feet are flat on the mat. They can be together or a little apart. And we're going to bend into a chair pose, belly into the spine, gazing straight ahead, finding that Drishti focal point. Breathing in as the belly's in, nice and firm to the spine. And exhale, let's come up, unwind. Arms can come up all the way overhead. Coming back into a T. The left arm now is going to wrap underneath the right. Or eagle arms. Again, hands can come together or the backs of the hand. We'll settle into chair as we pull those arms in close. We're pulling them down and in, gazing forward. The weight of our body, we shift backwards into our heels. Maybe your toes even peel up ever so slightly. Breathe. And exhale. Come on up, arms up overhead, looking up towards the fingers. And then we'll exhale our hands down to our heart center. Then we're going to take a hold of the back of our chair again for some balancing. Now here we're going to root down through that left foot, the foot that's closest to your chair. So whichever side that works for you. The side that's closest to the back of the chair, let's root into that foot. And we are just going to simply right now lift up our right leg. Holding that underneath the knee. I'm going to flex my foot. Again, as if it's standing on the ground, but it's a foot or two off the ground. Belly into the spine. You can hold the chair, but if you feel good balance, you're welcome to just take your other hand and place it under the knee. Holding that right leg up, gazing forward, and let go. We'll bring that foot down to the mat. Well done, people. Let's do a little bit of tree on the same side while we're here. So holding on to your chair, we can either rest as we root down through the left side, or that foot closest to the chair. We can rest our foot at the ankle. We can bring it up to the calf. We can bring it up to the thigh, but we want to avoid the kneecap. Belly into the spine, holding on to your chair, relaxing the shoulders, finding that focal point. And you're welcome to bring your hands to prayer if your balance is there and that's in your practice today, or continue to hold on to the chair. Breathing. And we'll come on out of that. Now you can either just turn around or you can move your chair. I'm going to move my stool just for the sake of recording. We're going to root down again, then on the opposite side with that foot that is closest to the chair, which in this case, which should be the opposite. So my right side, in my case, I'm going to lift that left foot up, flexing that foot, holding on to the back of the chair, belly into the spine as I hold on underneath, gently underneath that left thigh behind the knee. Standing tall. neutral gaze, finding that drishti, something to focus on. And again, you're welcome to take that other hand, bring it under the knee if you've got the balance in that practice for you today. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and lower that leg back down to the mat. We'll move into tree on the same side. So giving your legs a little wiggle if you need to just kind of get that out. Again, foot can rest at the ankle, can come up to the calf, or it can come all the way up to that upper thigh, avoiding the kneecap, holding on to the chair, belly into the spine, pressing that left leg into that right leg. So we're pressing into one another to create a strong, firm foundation. And if it works for you today to come into prayer with your hands, go ahead and do that. Relaxing the shoulders, maybe even growing your tree, moving your tree branches. We'll come on out of that. Well done. All right, let's take your chair now and you're going to flip it around so that the cushion of the chair is closer to you and the back of the chair is further from you. And once you're set up in that position, we're going to do a few warrior type poses with the chair or without the chair, depending on how it works for you. So we're going to start with warrior 3. And so with warrior 3, we're going to bend at the waist. We're going to place our hands on the cushion of our chair, and we're going to root down through the left foot as that right foot comes out long behind you. Now, in a regular warrior 3, our hands would be going towards the earth. But right now, this is perfect. Now, I want you to notice something about my foot, if you can. You'll see that it's really easy for us to take our toes and point them off to the side. And so I'm going to take that hip rotation. I'm going to make that big toe go directly down to the earth. And you're like, oh, I feel that. As soon as I close that hip off, rather than have it open, I want that hip closed. And so adjust the height of your leg. And if it's in your practice, we'll go ahead and lift that right arm. Notice that I have my long neck, belly into the spine, so my gaze is straight down, not having my eyes up, but I want a long, neutral, energetic line here. So the crown of my head and the tail of my spine are one long powerhouse line. Breathing. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and lower that arm down, and we'll bring that right foot back to the mat. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Let's take our back left leg, extend that out behind us. Now again, my toes are going to naturally want to point to the side wall a little bit. I'm going to intentionally take that foot, rotate it in, closing that hip off so that I have a neutral pelvis. Big toe, all toes are pointing straight down to the mat. Belly into the spine helps make that more possible. And then I'm going to lift my opposite arm up. In this case, my right arm. And I think I literally lifted the wrong arm last time. No wonder it was so hard. Strong line from the crown of the head, making one line, crown of the head all the way to the tailbone. Breathing. Checking that toe. Is it pointing down? And we'll go ahead and lower that arm, lower that leg. Feet hip width distance apart. We're going to go ahead and fold forward and do ragdoll. So I'm going to reach for the opposite elbows. Allow the crown of the head to hang towards the earth. We don't need to have our eyes looking up. They can just look between the knees, a soft, soft bend in the knees. Allow the belly to rest and relax on the thighs. Maybe sway a little bit from side to side. This is really this is not about straight legs as much as it's a lengthening and stretch for the spine. Nice deep breath in. And let that out. Releasing your hands down to the mat. Let's roll up one vertebra at a time, nice and slow, keeping the spine curved. Allow the arms to hang, taking your time, rolling up until everything is stacked on top of one another. Shoulders over the hips, head balancing gently and evenly between the shoulders, softening those shoulders. And we're going to move into triangle here. So taking your left foot forward, or whatever foot works best for you to see the camera, and then we'll just do both sides. I'm going to take my left foot forward, and I'm going to step my right foot back, probably about 3 feet back. Arms come out to form the letter T. Legs are straight in triangle. I'm going to reach forward with my left hand like I'm getting something off of a shelf. I'm going to bump my right hip out, and then I'm going to tip down and place my hand on the cushion of the chair for triangle. Holding my belly into the spine, reaching that top right arm, in my case, up to the sky. Opening through the chest, opening through the collarbone. I'm gazing up. Now I have the option, if triangle is something that feels comfortable and accessible, I can put my hand on my shin or even my ankle, or perhaps even the floor in my triangle. But on the chair cushion works really well, in this particular practice. Nice deep breath in and out. Pressing through the feet, let's rise back up, arms back into triangle, and then down by our sides. Stepping the right foot forward. We'll do the same on the opposite side. I'm going to switch my chair for sake of videoing. Place my right foot up by the chair and step my left foot back in this particular case. Arms come out nice and wide. Popping that left hip out, I reach forward as if I'm getting something off the shelf. Bring my hand down to that cushion as the other arm comes up, spinning up towards the ceiling. My gaze is up to the ceiling. And again, I can place my hand on my ankle, my shin, or the mat. Gazing up or down, whatever feels best in your neck. Straight legs. Full breath in. And out. Pressing through that back foot, let's come back up into our arms out to the side. Releasing those hands down. And step that foot back in. Well done. Standing facing our chair, but we're going to give ourselves a little distance. We're going to swan dive forward. So I'm going to inhale my arms up overhead. My eyes follow my hands. And then in a swan dive, my hands are going to come out to the side, Sweeping down as I forward fold. Straight legs all the way down. Relax the head. We're going to take a full breath in. And let that out. Another breath in. And let that out. And let's reverse that swan dive. Same way we went up. Let's go ahead and inhale. Arms come sweeping up overhead. Again, our hands and our eyes are following one another up to the top. And on the next swan dive, we're going to stay down. So we're inhale. The arms are coming down now. And we're on the mat. We're going to step back into a downward facing dog. So you may want to push your chair out of the way if you haven't. And we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Feet are hip width distance apart on your mat. Pressing those fingers into the mat. I want you to imagine screwing your palms in, like as if they need to lock in. I'm going to screw my palms of hand in toward the center line, into the midline. And that really can relax and open up the shoulders. Allow the crown of the head to just hang. Belly pushes towards the thighs. In this reverse, it's like an inverted V. We're in downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. And let that out. And let's work our way down to child's pose. So I'm just going to lower my knees onto the mat. We're going to press back into a child's pose. Knees can be wide. I want your big toes touching. Knees can be wide if you want to really open up through the chest, or if you feel you need a little more stretch in the shoulders and opening up in the back, bring your knees together and allow your body to drape over the knees. Now, if you would like, you could use a block to kind of sit on if you cannot fully collapse back, if this is too hard on your knees. Sitting on a block, just right underneath you. So I'm just going to do that to demonstrate. I can just slide a block right underneath as if it's a little chair. And it gives a little more space if, say, we've had knee surgery or injuries that don't allow the full expression of child pose. Taking a nice full breath in, just allowing that forehead to rest gently on the mat. Send that breath to the back of your body. Imagine filling up balloons in the back of your lungs and feeling that expanse. One more breath. On your next inhale, let's come up to tabletop. Now, if you want, you can use your blanket underneath your knees. We're not going to be here very long, but if you need that extra cushion, just do that. As we're in tabletop, we're going to move into cat-cow. So on your next inhale, let's drop the belly as the chin comes up, shoulders relax down the spine. On the exhale, let's press into the mat, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat as you curve that spine, dropping the chin to the chest, rounding out like a scared cat. Inhale, chin comes up. We gaze up towards the ceiling or the wall in front of you. Belly drops like a cow. And let's just continue in that pattern. Go at a pace that is comfortable for you, just in these opposite, opposing moves for the spinal column. Some Some people like to move fast, some go slow. To me, it depends on the day and just what the body needs. So listen and respond accordingly. And we'll come back into a neutral spine when you're ready. And just kicking those legs out to the side. Let's come down to our bottom. Legs will come out in front. I'm going to just do a simple spinal twist. So I'm going to extend my legs out long in front of me. I'm just going to keep my chair pushed off to the side. I don't think we'll really need it right now. We're going to have our feet up and flexed. I'm going to take my right leg and just cross it over the left. And I'm going to take my left hand. I'm just going to simply hug that thigh. I'm just going to hug it and do a spinal twist. So my right hand's going to come back behind my spine. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, I'm going to twist gently. Gazing over this right shoulder. I like to pull this thigh in close to the body. It gives a nice stretch right here in our hip flexor. Can feel an extension on that right leg. At the same time, again, let's do an inhale, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, give it a little gentle twist. Let's release that. Straightening out that leg. Let's go ahead and do the same on the other side. So I'm going to cross my left leg over the right. I'm just going to take my right arm and give a nice hug around that left thigh. My left hand's placed behind the spine. Inhale, I lengthen. And exhale, twisting. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to twist. Go ahead and come on out of that. Let's do some butterfly. So I'm going to bring my feet in, my soles of the feet touching. Take my hands and wrap them around my toes, just holding my feet together, sitting up nice and tall. We're just going to breathe in this butterfly position. Just allow those hips to open up. And then if it's in your practice today and you want a little deeper stretch, lean into this butterfly move just a little bit. Breathing here. And we'll release. You can bring those knees up a bit if you want. And then let's do it again. Go ahead and press into that butterfly. Nice long spine. Leaning in. One more breath in this pose. And we'll release, bring those legs up. Placing your hands back behind you a little bit and feet out in front. How about some windshield wipers just to kind of open up those hips? I like to have erratic windshield wipers after butterfly. So that means one leg's going to open, they're both going to be open into butterfly, and then we're going to close the other way. I don't really want my car windshield wipers working like this, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that would be a good thing. Feels good in the hips though. Oh, and since we're in this pose now, let's just go ahead and do a little boat. Let's bring those feet up and see if we can do some boat pose. We're going to pull that belly into the spine nice and tight. Feel it really low, down in your root, down in your sacral area. I'm going to hold underneath my knees to get me started. And if I feel brave, I may take my hands out. Really feeling that for me, right in that groin almost area, the top of my thighs and my belly. And then if you want, you can extend legs. Reach those hands out long. or stay right in both. Then let's roll back onto our spine. I want you to have, you're gonna have your blankie nearby and your block or book nearby. We're gonna roll back gently into our backside, lowering all the way to the mat. Allow your shoulders to settle in. Feel everything square off in the body as you're laying flat on your back. Now I have my knees bent for the time being because we're going to move into bridge. So with bridge, I press my heels into the mat. I want to just have my feet in a comfortable position. Now some people like to be able to graze the tips of their fingers right at their heel. That can be a good distance, but I want you to do bridge which feels best in your body. I'm going to take my palms and have them shining up to the sky or the ceiling, however you like to say that. Pressing in through the heels, I'm going to lift up into my bridge, pressing those knees in towards the midline. And what that means is, like, imagine you have a ball or a block between your knees and you need to hold it. So then you're really engaging everything in the legs. Pulling that belly into the spine makes you work harder and smarter while we're in bridge. Chin is tucked in towards the chest, keeping my head straight up at the ceiling. Just breathing in bridge, activating all of those backside muscles. Let's go ahead and lower our hips gently, rolling one vertebra at a time back onto our backside. We'll take a moment here. And on this next bridge, we're gonna level it up a little bit, but you're welcome to stay in regular bridge. We're gonna lift those glutes again off of the mat, peeling up the spine off of the mat. Pressing in through the left side, let's go ahead and lift that right leg up to the sky. And we're going to point and flex. Now you're going to need to activate those glutes. You're going to activate those muscles, pointing and flexing, lifting on that left side to hold you up as we point and flex that foot straight up to the sky. And let's go ahead and lower that right leg down. Then we'll drop our hips just for a moment back down to the mat. Take a quick breather and press up one more time. Pressing into the heels. We're going to shift our weight and put that weight into the right foot as we lift the left to the sky. Belly into the spine, activating everything as we are pointing and flexing that left foot. Just getting that extension. Go ahead and lower that left foot back to the mat, pressing up into our bridge, and then lowering back down. Well done. Let's go ahead and pull those knees into the chest, wrapping our arms around our calves. And we'll just roll from left to right, just giving a nice little massage on the back. Then let's extend that left leg out long, keeping that right leg in towards the chest. Let's go ahead and cross that right leg over the body and place that foot on the floor, on the left side of the body. I'm going to take my left hand, hold that right thigh in. We're going to do a supine twist on this left side. So just giving a nice twist, pulling that right leg over to the left side of the body, belly into the spine to protect that lower back. I like to gaze down my right arm in a twist like this. And I mean, maybe you want to move that leg, move that top leg. Maybe it goes closer towards your feet. Maybe you pull it in closer towards your shoulder. Just see what feels right for you and get the stretch your body needs today. All right, then rolling back onto our back, we'll release that leg and pull both knees back into the chest and give another little hug, rolling like a ball from left to right. Just a little massage of the spine. And then I'm going to extend that right leg out long, keep that left knee into the chest. And again, I'm going to pull that across my body, placing the left foot onto the right side of my body for a supine twist on this left side. Extending that left arm long, maybe gazing down that arm. Just give a nice supine twist to your spine. Connecting with your breath here. Organically moving what you need to move in order to find the stretch, find the opening. Maybe there's a point of tension. You want to bring your breath into that area where it feels tight so that we don't meet it with resistance, but just with breath. Notice things just relax little by little. Feels so good. Then let's come back to our flat back. Knees up towards the sky, feet flat on the mat. If your block or book is nearby, I'm going to take my block now. I'm going to lift up my hips as if I'm going into bridge. I'm going to slide that block right under my tailbone. Find a place where you know you can trust that block or that book to hold your weight. And it feels good. No impingements, no pain. You can have a little discomfort, but not pain. You know the difference. You know your body. And once you can settle into resting your tailbone on that block, let's take our legs up towards the sky. And this is waterfall. This is an elevated waterfall. So my legs are simply just hanging out up directly above my hips. My palms are shining up, maybe a little bit outside, away from my body. Gives my armpit space to air out a little bit, get some airflow in the bod. We're going to stay here for 5 full breaths. Just allow this inversion to work its wonders in the body. Relaxing and softening, melting into the mat. We'll take one more deep breath in. And let that all out. Bringing your feet back to the mat. We'll lift those hips and slide that block out. And then just go ahead and settle into your final resting position. So for me, that often looks like laying on my back, grabbing a blanket, maybe covering up if I feel a little cool. My feet wide as the mat, my arms out to the side, feeling that security of the blanket resting on my chest and over my arms. And I'd like for you to just settle in here for a moment. Allow the breath to just return to its regular pace. And that may take a little bit of time. It may take a few moments for it to come all the way down. But we've been slowing it down here in the last few moves. And so just settle in. Observe the breath. miracle and wonder of the Ruah breath in our body. The way the breath has allowed us to move that body. And more importantly, to be accepting of the way the body moved today. And grateful for what it was able to do. Gently bring your awareness to your heart center. And just notice the rise and fall of your chest. Bringing in a state of gratitude for the day at hand or the evening at hand. For time that you were able to carve out for yourself today. To move and to breathe and to strengthen the body. To ignite the soul and to untether the spirit. To respond to the way things are flowing for you right here and right now. So let's bring a little gentle movement into the hands and the feet. Bringing our awareness back into the body. And when you're ready, just push yourself up onto your side body carefully, not to hurt the back. And we'll come back up to seated together. Whether sitting cross-legged or perhaps in hero's pose. It's one of my favorites, just being able to sit up on top of my feet, hands resting on the knees, on the thighs. Relaxing the shoulders, noticing the difference that they're not up here any longer, but they're here, sliding down, resting. Let's take our hands and just gently place them over our heart. Connecting the breath with the movement of the heart and bringing our mind's awareness to this breath. Maybe even having a slight upturn in the face, on the mouth, with a little smile of gratitude. The light in me honors and respects and thanks you and your light in you for the time spent together today. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Hope you'll come back again.